Every video I used to make used to be with notes in one app, screenshots and things like that that I never used to find, but not anymore, not now that I'm actually using Firefly Boards to plan and create my videos. And that's where I want to show you how I do that today using today's sponsor, funnily enough, Adobe Firefly. Now, if you're not using Adobe Firefly Boards, you're actually, I think, missing out on these. You'll find them on the homepage. Just come over and you can open up Boards, and that's going to then open up this screen here. We've got the option to create a new board or start with one of the workflows. So I've had a look at some of the workflows previously, but today we're going to actually open up a board that I've actually used recently, and that was to create a looping video. Now, what I did is, first of all, on here, you can create the boards and start creating and developing your character, and this is where it kind of like really gets exciting, because you start off with one prompt. If I open up and load the prompts, you can see you can open up and load the prompts, and you can then start working through and developing your character as to what you want to look like. So as I started to change this prompt to be a little bit more like a fluffy kind of like toy. What is it called? Soft plushy toy. Okay, and then we wanted to add a shirt, and we kind of like started working through all of those side of things, and that's where I then started developing this character. We started getting the hat, started changing the color of the hat, and then we kind of like ended up with this one here, where I ended up creating this little character here, which I thought was really cool. He's got a little flamingo shirt, he's got his little badge there ready to go to Adobe Max for the Creator Festival that we're going to have in November, and that's kind of like where I then started creating this character. Now, once you've got your actual character on here and you've developed that, okay, I'm going to load the prompt. You can see here I was able to actually select a particular image and say I want to just change the color of the hat to be more Miami. Now, once I've got my character kind of like designed in one angle, I want to then sort of kind of like create a couple of different options. So I want to be able to see what this character is going to look like from the front, the back, the right, the top, the bottom, and all the rest of it. And that's going to help us create character consistency in the future, so that when we're then starting to create our keyframes for our video, and that's what we're going to have, is just our keyframes first of all to start storyboarding this. And that's really where Firefly Boards comes into its own, because we can now start creating these. So you can see this one I've created, and I've added and used the image here as, and I'm pointing to my screen like you can see it, this one up here. So I've used this as the reference image. You can see here where we're generating this image, and I said I want this to be, you know, Bean Vicotti. I want him to kind of like be stepping out onto the streets from this hotel and kind of like describing the vibe. And this is where we can then sort of start getting and building those vibes up as to what we want this character to look like and how we want this to kind of like develop and what the kind of keyframes are going to be for that video. Now, one of the things that I like about using Firefly Boards is that it's not just a folder somewhere with all the images. I can see them visually on the board here. So if I show you this particular section here where we started building this out, I can even save and add in my prompts by just adding in a kind of like little text box here and kind of like change and make that as I want it to. So I can start saving those prompts so I'm not going to lose them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually start building this out and kind of like build the scene step by step. And that's where we've got these different scenes here to be able to then start building this out and being able to see it step by step. So what you can see here is this is where we've got the character moving through this video that we want to create. And you could do this for any kind of video. If you could do this for storyboarding, something like maybe a UGC video or something else that you're wanting to film and create a bigger project on. It doesn't have to be a big project, it can be a small project, but it's how you can actually then take those scenes and start storyboarding and see those visually. And I find that that's something that helps me kind of like plan out a video so that when I actually come to press and record on the video or anything else like that, I can actually see and visualize and live that moment as to what those videos are going to be like. Now we can see here what we've done is we've actually got those items there, and then we start creating the videos. In this particular case, yes, I've created these using generate video, but you could be kind of like recording something externally and importing that into here so you can actually start seeing what those videos actually look like. Now here's another reason to get excited by Firefly Boards. If you've got documents from somewhere else, whether that's Adobe Illustrator or maybe even like Photoshop, where you've generated an image, all your videos or all your content remains consistent across your cloud storage. You can see here, if I open up the cloud storage, you can see here I can still access my Photoshop files, so I can bring them into the boards area here as well if I wanted to. You can see here we can bring in Illustrator files or Firefly videos or anything else like that. Those can all come in, and you've also got access to your frame.io or your generation history. Those are all on here for you as well, to be able to bring those in to your Firefly boards, and you can access them from anywhere else as long as they're saved up to your Creative Cloud area. Then they're going to be able to be accessed from within Firefly Boards, creating that one unified, consistent area without having to switch tabs, download and re-upload like you do with other programs. And one of the other really great things about Firefly Boards is it actually becomes a really good collaborative area to work with other people within a team. If you just come up to the share option up here, you can then invite other team members or other project members into your Firefly board so they can add in things that they're creating or generating within side of the project here, really creating that one big consistent area where you'll be able to work with other people within the team. And then once you're done creating all of your assets and things like that, you can then bring them easily into the Firefly timeline editor, adding in your sound design, all of those great things there where you can create soundtracks inside of Adobe Firefly, all then being able to place them on that one timeline inside of the Firefly video editor. But Firefly Boards is where it all began, and that's where I want you to go and have a look and experiment with that today. Firefly Boards, let me know how you get on. Let me know if you've got any questions on Firefly Boards. I'll put a link down below in the description, and also you can see it here pop up. But until next time, thank you very much, and bye for now.